Which side of my face is the black face paint or the YouthForia foundation? T, you can't tell. You know why? Tar in a bottle.
Launching a foundation shade the color of a black Air Force is crazy work. Crazy. What is up, big bags? Welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the drama. No, there is something going on right now on TikTok in the beauty community that we have to talk about now. So apparently this brand called YouthForia has launched a foundation shade that's black. Black like my hoodie, black like a boot, black like a Sharpie. You see where I'm going with this? We have a lot to dive into. So before we get into that, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me. Let's get into the video. In order to get you guys up to date on today's tea, we have to backtrack a little bit. So YouthForia is a brand that is known to make makeup with skin-loving ingredients. Their quote is, it's makeup that you can actually sleep in. Who would actually want to do that? But anyway, we have to talk about when they first launched the foundation in the first place. So around, I forgot the actual time frame, but it was not long ago, they launched their initial foundation. Foundation is called the Date Night Skin Tint Serum Foundation. Now, I don't understand how a foundation could be a skin tint and a foundation in one. I always thought it was one or the other, but I digress. It retails for $48. The shade range is kind of atrocious, very atrocious. When they first launched, they didn't even have the darker shades, you guys, that we're talking about right now. This was an extension. So I'm going to talk about when they first launched. When they first launched, the shade range was horrible, absolutely horrible. Everybody was calling them out on TikTok about how bad the shade range was. And literally, you guys, I think the shade range stopped either above my complexion or at my complexion. And I'm not that dark. I'm not that deep in complexion. My skin tone is always in the deep range with the golden undertone. So my shade is probably the first or second shade before it gets into the really deep complexion. And it's kind of crazy because brands, before everybody started getting into shade extensions and actually being inclusive, they would stop around my skin tone or before my skin tone. That says a lot. That says a lot. The owner, should I drop her name? I'm gonna drop her name. The owner, Fiona Ko-chan. If I said her name incorrectly, please check me down below. I'm not saying it incorrectly on purpose. But she launched YouthForia when COVID hit. It says perhaps it was the inability to go out and see people, but Fiona coming back to this idea was the best part of wearing makeup, going out with your friends, and sometimes forgetting to take your makeup off. She really wanted makeup that was good for your skin, so good that you could sleep in it. That is literally the whole motto behind YouthForia. Now, the owner actually came out and dropped an apology video on TikTok, turned off the comments after a while, but basically apologizing yet gaslighting at the same time on why she did not have the extra shades that were needed to be an inclusive shade range. She basically said she would come back and do them later, which is bullshit. We all know that's bullshit anyway. But my problem is, it's the fact that, we'll get into that later. Nope, I lied. I'm coming back to it. When she launched this foundation on TikTok, you guys, her whole thing was there was no budget for this foundation.
Why is our date night foundation you can sleep in $48? When I started working on this product 3.5 years ago, I told my lab, you have no budget. Just make me the best thing chemically possible.
This foundation was her baby. It was her dream. It was the biggest launch for YouthForia. This launch in particular was supposed to project YouthForia into being one of the biggest brands, right? When she was not inclusive with the first launch, people were like, you literally had no budget. You had the money to do it, you just didn't do it. What? So she, like I said, she gaslit everyone and basically said that black people were an afterthought, but she would come back and do it again. She would get it right the next time or whatever. I personally was not depending on her coming out with another shade range. Personally, when a brand drops a launch and they do not have my shade the first go round, I'm not buying from that brand. I'm not buying that foundation launch. You know what I'm saying? Because if I was not initially the customer you were creating products for in the first go round, it shows you don't want my money. It shows that you don't want me as a customer. So that's just me. I don't know why people were waiting around for YouthForia to come out with another launch, but it is what it is. They came back with another shade extension, I guess, and it was worse than the beginning, you guys. It was worse than the first launch. Worse. They ended up coming out with a literal black foundation, you guys. Black. Charcoal. Sharpie marker, black. Absolutely no undertones, no yellow, red, blue, green, none of that. Black. Black. Did I mention black? The detrimental damage that this has probably done to the brand is very extreme. All the comments have been disabled on all the YouthForia social media platforms, or they've been limited, and no statement has been given yet due to the release. So my first initial question is, were they serious when they launched this? Honestly, were they serious? The reason why I asked this, you guys, is because there's a lot of brands that drop shitty shade ranges for outrage, for clout, for popularity and views on their brand. So what they'll do is they'll launch a shitty shade range. For example, let me not be messy. But anyway, they'll drop a shitty shade range and people will create buzz around the shade range, and it'll make people who are actually included in the shade range go buy it. It happens. It's actually a real tactic, you guys, and brands do it. I'm wondering if YouthForia did this particularly, but I'm honestly not really sure. The reason why I'm even like considering this thought is because literally, guys, the marketing and shade on this launch was so bad, it was comical. Like, I had to laugh because I'm really just like, are you serious right now? Like, did you really put your money into this? Are you serious? Like, this isn't a joke. April Fool's is gone. Like, what's crazy about this shade, you guys, that y'all don't even understand? I didn't even see it until a couple of days ago. Apparently, when she was shooting models for like swatches and stuff of the foundation, she couldn't find anyone to match the deepest shade that she created. She couldn't find anyone. Isn't that ding ding ding? Isn't that a red flag? So she literally, maybe her husband, I don't know, I'm not sure, allegedly, let's use the word allegedly, flew overseas and were just picking people off the street.
I don't have enough time to do a full photo shoot. I'm on the other side of the world, street casting and getting ghosted. Alvin and Jack graciously agreed to be our models. We don't have a ton of time. I went to the mall and decided to do a photo shoot at the mall. Here I am trying to be the videographer, but also the makeup artist on set. It was honestly so chaotic, but I found a camera store that agreed to email us a photo. It's just gonna have to. Here's the 2 darkest shade of YouthForia foundation. Trendy has more warmth. 100 is a cool neutral.
And, you know, asking them, have you ever thought about modeling, etc., etc., trying to find someone to match this foundation. One, that's weird. That's so weird. That's so weird and last minute. Like, that's so tacky. That's so tacky to me, you guys. Like, really? One, if you did do that, why are you filming it? Like, that's not cute. Why are you showing that to your audience? Like, oh my God, we couldn't find somebody to match this foundation, so we're gonna go on the street and find someone. So cute and perky. No, like, what? And then newsflash, the person that they found on the streets, the man they found, the foundation didn't even match him either. And then it's like, the skip from the deepest shade that they created and the shade before that is huge. Like, I'm talking about the shade before the deepest is my skin tone. So you see how I'm popping out in this black hoodie right now? This is the shade difference. Yeah. The more I go over the details, I'm like, maybe this wasn't an outrage launch and they're actually serious, which is really, really sad because it is a smaller brand. So them investing in creating this foundation and going into the lab and I guess finding a model and creating an extension, that costs money. And I feel like that's money that they're not willing to just throw away. Plus, they were scrambling for dark skin influencers to partner with. Very, very rare. I think I only saw one, and the girl looked like she just wanted the coin. I'm not even gonna lie, like, a lot of people were like, is it worth it, in her comments. I'm not gonna give her name, but I was just looking at it like, okay, all right, get your coin, girl, get your coin. That's you. I don't know, when it comes to like integrity with working with different brands, I just won't do it. Some people will do it for the coin. I can't do it. There's so many brands out here that you can work with, man. But yeah, the fact that this was really like a real, for real launch is crazy. Crazy to me. Absolutely bonkers. Let's talk about the actual shade itself though. Now the shade is called 600 Deep Neutral, and the shade before that is 590 Deep. 590 Deep is described as neutral with cool undertones, and then 600 is just described as deep neutral. So I was looking at some videos on TikTok and I follow Javon. If you don't follow Javon, oh my God, I recommend that you do. He's a beauty chemist that goes into detail on so many things. He actually clarified and looked at the ingredients on this foundation and stated that this shade specifically only has black pigment in it.
I wanted y'all to see something first before folks start gaslighting her and other black creators in the comments. So this is one of YouthForia's latest foundations. If you look here at the bottom of the ingredient list, you'll notice 3 different colors. Stay with me now. The CI stands for color index, and it basically represents titanium white, red, and yellow iron oxides. Pretty much the only colors you need to make a lighter shade of foundation. But then if we look at their darkest shade, the ingredient list tells a different story. Here there's only one pigment, CI77499, which is just black iron oxide. No other colorants. This foundation literally only has pure black pigment. Here's a close-up if you missed it the first time.
Black pigment alone. Crazy work. The problem is people really think, like I saw this really good video of a girl that said this makeup brand is for people who think that black people actually look like that, which is crazy. Like they really think that we don't have undertones in different shades. Like they only think we come in like 4 shades, which is absolutely bonkers to me. The shade 600 neutral literally has no undertone at all. It's literally pitch black, very much coal on the grill, if you will. And it's crazy because people in the comments were really gaslighting Gloria, the girl that I posted in the beginning of this video. They were gaslighting her, saying, well, maybe it could be a shade that you could mix in to your foundation, etc, etc, etc. 1, it wasn't marketed as that, so stop. 2, why should we have to do that? And then 3, mixing black with anything makes it muddy. Come on, be fucking for real. Like, don't piss me off. And then there were some black people, you know, I'm not gonna use the C word, okay, coon. There were some people basically saying, well, there are some people in the world that actually are that shade and blah, blah, blah. There's no one in the world that doesn't have an undertone. Come on now, like, be for real. Like, stop playing around. Stop. Like, people literally just trying to find a way to tiptoe around everything other than just accepting accountability. Like, just take accountability, apologize, and move on. Or just, you know, hold that person accountable altogether. People don't want to do that. They want to tiptoe and be funny. But I'm not laughing. I feel like there's a lot of white counterparts wonder why brands specifically do not create shades for deeper skin tones, and I'm here to tell you they don't want to. They won't. That's what I'm here to tell you. Like, a lot of white counterparts, white neutrals are like, oh, they need to change the shade range. Oh, I'm so sorry. And you know what grinds my gears? You know what really pisses me off? It's these influencers that have large followings, that have a lot of influence, that are white, and they always preach how the shade range could be better. There needs to be more shades. This is unacceptable. But they don't use their voice to exclaim to these brands that are gifting them all these purses, shoes, trips to extend the range. It's crazy. If something doesn't apply to you, you don't care about it. Like, I really don't understand how that works. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have these relationships with these brands that are coming up short on the shade range of your mutuals. Like, some of your mutuals are black, are deeper in skin tone, and you have no want to say anything or speak up, but it's like, it's giving performance. It's very annoying and it's very irritating. I also hate when people are the first ones to jump when a brand does launch a foundation and the shade range is kind of inclusive, and the first thing that comes out their mouth is, oh yes, this shade range, oh this shade range, oh it's so perfect, it's so good. How do you know? How do you know? You're not black. How do you know? Crickets. Bottom line, you guys, these brands don't want to make deeper skin tones for a couple of reasons. One, a lot of people assume that shades that are in deeper complexion with like foundation, powders, and all that stuff, they assume that they won't sell, which is a lie. Black people make up a large percentage of the pie in the beauty industry when it comes to purchasing, being a consumer, being a customer. We make up a large piece of the pie, so that's a lie. What I think it is that a lot of brands are, 1, too lazy to want to do it because it can be a little complex, and then 2, they're afraid to fuck up. That's another thing that I think. I feel like they have the resources to do it, but they're afraid to fuck it up. Personally, I feel like being afraid to fuck it up but still putting it out potentially is a little better than not doing it at all. I mean, would you rather not do it at all or show some effort? It's like kind of like with Too Faced when they launched their Born This Way foundation the first time and their shades were ass, and then they collaborated with Jackie Aina on shades and now it's better. Kind of like that, you know, just there's always room for improvement. I feel like a lot of these brands rather just not do it at all. And then the other reason is the fact they just don't want to include us overall due to underlying racism that a lot of people just cannot accept. People just cannot accept that people are racist. And you know what's so crazy? A racist will never just come out and say that I'm racist or I don't like black people. No one will ever come out and just just say that. They say it in their actions. But for some reason, a lot of people who aren't black cannot accept that someone is racist until they come out and just straight up say the N-word, or just literally come out and say, I don't like black people, which is very rare. They're not going to slip up a lot of the time. It's always the actions. And it's just baffling to me how people just are so afraid to say the R word. Racist. You're racist. You know what I'm saying? Racist. Overall, I'm just tired of the beauty industry and the beauty community being so naive to brands doing this to us. And it's always so much outrage, and then it just dies down and people just forget about it and they don't care anymore until Black History Month. It's so frustrating. It is so frustrating, which is why I'm not holding bank that a lot of these brands will try and turn a new leaf. That's why I'm looking forward to the newer brands coming out. That's why I'm looking forward to the brands that actually do show love to being inclusive, like Fenty, NARS, MAC, Bobbi Brown. Like, there are brands that actually do give a fuck about us. I'm not looking to make amends with brands that are trying to turn a new leaf. I'm good. I'm good. If you didn't think about me the first time, I'm good. I'm good. That's why I'm so excited for brands like Win Beauty, LYS Beauty. They actually give a F about us, you guys. You should really check them out. I think it's the fact that YouthForia showed with the first launch that they have no means to be inclusive in the first place. They don't care about it. They never cared about it until there was outrage. And then when the outrage came, they gave the bare minimum. They gave a little bit more than the bare minimum, like 1%. Like, the bare minimum's here and they went here. I'm so annoying. Do y'all have any thoughts on how they could have saved face the first time? Do you have any thoughts on how they could save face now? Because personally, as someone who loves marketing, I have nothing for this one. I have nothing. I don't know what they could do. Obviously, they need to go back in the lab, but I think they need to shut that brand down a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if Ulta actually pulled it off their shelves, but that's just me. What do you guys think? I would love to know your thoughts down below. Please talk to me. Talk to me, child. We gotta discuss for real, because this is insane. It's crazy, and it's annoying, and it's getting old. If you like videos like this where I talk about different makeup commentary, such as the video you're watching now, I do have a playlist. I'll put it on either side. I never know which side it's gonna be on. There's also, feel free to subscribe to my channel because I do upload every single week. I love you guys so much, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.